What is happening, YouTube? So, today's commentary is going to be about how do I start an excavation company. And one of you in particular sent me a couple text messages, so this is mostly around your answers, but also a lot of you, lots of Instagram, and it's all like how, like the theme is, how do I start an excavation company? What's the plan? Like, how do you do it? So, and a lot of you all say you have some type of experience, whether it's farm experience and or you're working for a company, or you've done this or done that, somewhat related. Some of you have machines, a machine, want to buy a machine. How do you get work? How do you get work and start working while working a job? Like, the truth is, the blatant honest truth, in my opinion, in my experience, is like, there is no set formula or set plan. Like, there is not that. Everybody's situation, everything is different. Everybody has a unique situation. We have different risk tolerances. There's so many different variables. So like, what works for me will definitely not work for a lot of other people. And quite honestly, what has worked for me, like, it's all just, I don't know how it's worked, but it's worked. It's just been like a big, I'm using the word, it's been like a big crapshoot, for lack of a better term. And so the best thing I can answer all these questions with, I think, is sharing my story from the beginning. So I'll kind of fast forward through some of it and go slow where it matters in other points, and hopefully you guys can relate to those points and take from this information, relate it to you and make your decisions based on that. So I started operating equipment roughly when I was around 11 years old. Always wanted to run equipment. That's just what I wanted to do. I started on the cherry farm running a high-low, and I learned basic hydraulic control skills on an old high-low forklift on the farm. I did that till like 7 years. 18, I started working for a construction equipment company that services and sells heavy equipment, so I got more associated there. 21, I started working, was taught properly how to dig with a backhoe around utilities, dig properly around all that kind of stuff, safety, got my CDL. From there, I came back up to Michigan, worked for an excavation contractor up here for like a year, worked for another guy for another year, 2 years, something like that up here, went back to Florida, worked for a huge pipe company down there. Probably the most fun and the coolest projects I've ever worked on, just because of the size and the scale of it all, so that was awesome. And then laid off, that was in 2008-ish or something, 9, like the economy, that whole thing going on. So came back up here, and that, 09, was sort of like the turning point of, okay, I want to do something on my own. I want to work for myself. I'm going to make my own money. I don't necessarily want to work for someone else. So it was a very vague, like, just go out. So I was doing stuff. I had a job delivering mail. I was doing landscaping projects. A small excavation project that takes 3 hours now, I would do on a day on a weekend, and not just because I was doing it myself. I would just do anything and everything that I could to make a dollar, not so much to make the money, but just to gain the experience and the awareness and sort of building the brand, my name, at that point. And yeah, I had basically odd jobs from 09 until 2014 or something, I think. I pulled boat trailers with the old Duramax. Like, I was just my situation was unique because I didn't have a typical 8 to 5 job. I had a job where the mail delivery thing, I was done at 1 o'clock every day, so I had half the day to go do more stuff. And then when I was doing the boat trailer gig, that was sporadic. Like, I'd be on the road for 2 weeks, I'd be home for a week, I'd be on the road for 2 days, home for 3. Like, it was easy to schedule projects then and make it all happen. So, bottom line, I guess I just hustled. Like, not trying to sound Gary Vaynerchuk on you all, but I just did it and made it happen. I rented equipment. I had horrible credit. Because I didn't pay credit card bills in my, from whatever in the mid 2000s like that. Like I screwed my credit all up. I didn't have quote unquote any money because I had bad credit and I spent all the money I made on whatever. I mean, I wasn't making much money either. I mean, at the time I thought, but anyways, so I had literally nothing, except like a drive to go move dirt. Like, that's all it was. And it has simply just grown very organically. A lot of word of mouth. Done a little bit of advertising. Like, I advertise well, I haven't, but I do a little. Yeah, it's scary to advertise because I can't even keep up now. So, it's just grown organically. And I got all my core experience, I'll call it, from really just working for other people. That's why I do say, like, it's great to work for other people, because you can learn on their dime and get paid for it. You're going to make mistakes on their dime and dollar. Not that don't make too many of them, because you want to keep your job. But, I learned a ton, and I can't thank those people who I did work for enough, who, gave me those opportunities and taught me a lot of just all that kind of stuff. So, when do you buy a machine? Well, you buy a machine when you have enough work to justify the cost of that machine. How do you get work? Well, you just go out there and, I don't know, network, talk. Oh, I can do this or I can do that. Like, I had a cousin for like 3 years. I have a cousin for 3 years. Every summer he'd have some little weekend, 2 weekend in a row project. That would lead to another thing, or their neighbor would see something. Like, you just go out there and do it. What kind of work should I get? What kind of work should I focus on to use my skid steer or to use my excavator on? Anything you can do. Like, if it's putting in a driveway, put the driveway in. If it's taking out small trees and bushes and making a nicer yard, do that. Whatever you can do with the equipment that you have or with equipment that you can rent, do it. Like, if your machine has to sit home for a weekend, but you can go rent a mini excavator or rent a big excavator and do this, go do it. Like, just do it. Learn. Do it and learn. That's the only way. It's not the only way, but it's the way that's worked for me. And it's a way that I really feel like a lot of people in any business, like, they just go out there and they just they just do stuff. Like, the only way you will be successful in anything, Michael Jordan, that one quote, I sound all inspirational, but it's just truth. But, you're going to miss every single shot you don't take or something like that. I don't know. So you've just got to go out and do work and make it happen. And eventually, as long as you do good work, I do try to keep the quality of work very high. Not that I don't make mistakes, and not that I haven't had to go back and fix things or, quote unquote warranty work or deal with customer I do. Like, I've had those. I have those occasional, 10%, 5% of customers who are not happy. I am not perfect, and you just have to take care of it and, like, do the best that you can do to solve the situation. We just had one where the concrete that was poured had a little bit of tip fall back to the house. So, like, you talk it over. My mason is awesome, and excuse me, he took care of it. So you just work through the situations and hold on, I gotta get a drink of water. You just work through the tough situations. You learn from them. I think that's one of the other most important things. Like, be okay with, like, it's okay to make mistakes, for sure. You will make mistakes. Know that that's going to happen. I think the biggest thing with the mistakes that you make, hopefully no one gets hurt, hopefully you don't get hurt, hopefully it doesn't cost too much, but then most importantly after those, learn from them. What did I do wrong? How can I improve for next time? So it's a long rant, a long ramble about all that, but like it's pretty simple. Like you just have to go out and do work. If you don't have work, I don't know, post pictures on Facebook, advertise, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, hey, I can do this, I got this, I can do that. It just started. I had no formula. I have no formula now, except I know my pricing, stay profitable and pay my bills. And most of the profit pays the bills. So, that's all it is. And eventually, this year, I won't get into all that, but like, you move forward. So, okay, phone's ringing. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all on the next one.